It's your girl again with another live stream. I'm gonna turn on my fan before it gets loud. This live stream, or yada yada, is something I would never do before. And my dad forgot to lock the door. Hold on. Alright, so this live stream is about my dreams and my nightmares. So, I'm going to do a little polo to see which one, what do you want to hear first? As I wait for people to join the stream, I'm gonna see what things somebody sent me. Hello. This live stream is about you hearing what my dreams and nightmares are going to be about. You could leave a vote in, and I left. Well, since while I'm waiting, how about I just explain a dream I had when I was 3 years old. Okay. When I was 3 years old, I had a dream where it was my birthday, and it was like in the morning. My grandparent was getting me a cake for my birthday. I think it was like a strawberry cake. It's hard to remember. It was a long time ago. And while I was waiting for my cake to arrive, I saw they came home and the cake was nowhere to be found. My 3-year-old self asked, "Where's the cake?" Before they replied with, "It got ran over," which brought me to tears, literally. That was the first time I ever had of a nightmare / odd dream as a 3-year-old. And it was sad. Okay. Another dream I had, well, I wouldn't say dream, more like a hallucination, I think. So this hallucination / dream was when I moved into a new house my dad and stepmom were in. I had a rather weird looking bed back then. Like, it was like, for example, it was like this big. It was this big, and the bed and where I was, like my feet dangled out off the bed, and the blankets hardly covered the rest of my body. So I was trying to sleep, right? Like holding on to a teddy bear, yada yada. And as I moved my head down. I thought I heard a noise, like somebody like walking into the room. So I lift my head a little. I see in the corner of my eye somebody standing there, like a girl with blackless eyes. Like she looked like Jane Doe at most. Spooky, right? So I noticed the figure right where. Okay, so from my point of view, so this girl that I was either dreaming or hallucinating was standing like right beside the closet at my dad's house. So as I was like trying to go back to bed, however, I laid my head down, like back down, and I thought it would go away. No, it didn't. So I lifted up my head again, seeing the figure staring me down, like it was like camera angle wise, like right in front of me, which freaked me out really badly. So I like jumped and closed my eyes, and next thing I knew, it was out of sight, out of mind, gone. Okay, the next dream I had. So this was after when I had a obsession over Bill Cipher, because I always thought he was real. This, however, was nothing like anything I'd ever seen in my life. So I was 13 at the time. I was in this like cornfield, however, where it was like old western energy type thing. I was walking through the like a cornfield maze almost. I got into like multiple loops, and as I was walking, I heard faint laughter. So I looked around, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw like a yellow thing. Kind of creepy, right? I see the cornfield go away. The atmosphere, a lot orangish, darkish, blackish. So when I lifted up my head, I saw like Bill. He was in front of me, like with his hand on his hip, like leaning over. I fell back as he floated up to me, like so, and he said, "What you doing, music note?" Which got me surprised. I simply asked why he was here. He said, "You summoned me, right? So obviously you wanted to see me." So I said, "Why are you here? Do you want to make a deal?" He then replied with, "Of course I do. What would you like to do?" I replied with getting rid of my enemy actually not my enemy, more like a frenemy. Afterwards, the next following day, I thought my frenemy wasn't there anymore. Like, I hardly see her anymore. You're right. Okay. The next following dream, it was rather interesting. So this dream was, okay, so I was walking into a field, a beautiful pink field, which had a beautiful Japanese cherry blossom tree. I looked around and I saw, oh my god, I saw George Washington, but buff, and he was like looking at me like in like a hot way, like. So what we did, however, it was like we were on this date. He took my hand and say, "Please, my lady, would you stay with me?" I felt ecstatic, but suddenly, in the dream, somebody beat up George Washington. It was none other than flippin' James Madison. He knocked over the buff George Washington. He simply started approaching me and kidnapped me, actually. Brought me to this, like, church, tied me on a chair, and suddenly he was like, "You're never getting George Washington back." And I don't know what to say now, but it was like rather hilarious. In the corner of my eye, here comes my Lord and Savior, Abraham Lincoln, coming in, swooping to save me. So James Madison and Abraham Lincoln fought. Here comes Alexander Hamilton. He walks in and swoops me and saves my life. Wow, right? But as he was saving me, I got kidnapped again by you know who, Aaron Burr. He got kidnapped me, and then I started to scream. So Aaron Burr, however, got literally brutally hit by none other than Lafayette, which he saved my life. Alexander Hamilton, however, witnessed the three, so they started to have like a little brawl moment. As I was running away, I saw the buff George Washington in the corner of my eye. He took my hand and said, "My lady, I promise I'll never let those hooligans hurt you again." It was romantic, really romantic. He brought me back to the blossom cherry tree. He went on his knee, gave it a kiss, and literally he said to me, "My lady, I will never let anyone touch you, no longer as we are together." We were about to kiss until I woke up in the morning due to my alarm for me to go to school. That was the weirdest ever dream I ever had. Okay. Alright. Okay, this next one is a nightmare. So this nightmare starts with me and my dad in the car. He was driving to this gas station. We arrived at the gas station. He was pulling in to get gas. I see this very tall guy walking towards the car. He asked, "Are you alone?" I replied, "Yes, I was." Seconds later, he asked me to get out of the car because he saw that there was something like on my neck. I went out of the car and suddenly I heard screams from inside the gas station. I saw in the vague nightmare that my dad was on the floor, probably unconscious or something. The guy who was in front of me grabbed me by the hand, held me very tightly, and he said, "I promise it won't hurt a bit. Just imagine you're like a piece of cake." He wielded up a knife, jabbed it in my stomach. I saw my insides were actually cake before my nightmare cut to breaking glass and loud screams, which woke me up from the nightmare. It was a really weird nightmare, I gotta say. Okay. This nightmare was a very, very, very long time ago. I was either 8, starting my 3rd grade year of class. So if y'all have a fear of spiders, this isn't gonna be pretty for me to describe this nightmare. This nightmare starts off with me and like a guy who he was like the instructor taking me and some other kids to this warehouse for like a school tour, however. This nightmare was brought to life, however, when we walked inside. Cobwebs everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a whole white web type thing, and inside of the white spider web thing was a dude. The dude was probably dead by something very massive, like a spider. I literally screamed. So did the guy who was touring us. The guy touring us was later disappeared. So it was me and the other kids. I look up, seeing this massive black tarantula-like spider. He dropped down and he lunged at me. That's where I woke up crying. That was like the worst nightmare I ever had when I was either 8, I think. Spiders. The fear of spiders is very common. Like, really, really common. Okay, this next one is probably the weirdest dream I have ever had. So, this dream was, well, it's hard to explain. If y'all had a obsession over a character you really like simping wise, then I recommend you listen very closely. So this dream starts off, I was bolted onto a table, okay, so this is the table. I was right here. My whole body was bolted. And so I look, seeing this doctor character, none other than Dr. Massacrick from Psycho Cuties. He and his little creation, Mimi, were looming over me. Like so. He looms over me, slowly, and saying, "You are my new creation now. How do you feel?" I looked either terrified or very flustered by it. And seconds later, I woke up. That was a very, very short dream. Okay. The next dream. This dream, it was So, it was I was at a conference, the American conference. Hamilton-esque, you could say. I was with every cast of Hamilton. Out of nowhere, Hamilton came up to me. He was like, "What you doing?" I simply was gazing at a beautiful young figure, that being Lafayette. And let me tell you, the things in this dream is gonna get a little weird. So the next thing that happened, uh, Lafayette slowly sees me looking at him in a very flirty way. He then like says bonjour, and the first thing I do was like spaz out, like flustered mess. After just hearing the fate word bonjour, like literally coming out of Lafayette. So I was like, hi, and he slowly approached me, lifted up my chin, and he was like, oui, oui, mon chéri. Like he kept repeating the same thing every time was like listening to what he said. I get more and more flustered. It was like the weirdest like thing I would ever see in a dream. So I kept repeating what he says, like oui, oui, mon chéri, oui, oui, mon chéri. Like it kept getting like very weird here and there. But out of the corner of my eye, Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton were just questioning what we were doing. Like, what are they doing? Like every like 5 to 10 minutes, just oui, oui, mon chéri, oui, oui, mon chéri. Oui, oui, mon chéri, oui, oui, mon chéri. And then suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, the Schuyler sisters join in with their hands in the air, yelling, "Oui, oui, mon chéri! Oui, oui, mon chéri! Oui, oui, mon chéri!" Like it kept getting like out of control, out of freaking control. So basically, everyone in the whole Hamilton cast were like coming out, and then everyone was chanting, "Oui, oui, mon chéri! Oui, oui, mon chéri!" And then my alarm went off for school, which waked me up from this strange, miraculous dream I had. Okay. Alright, so, okay, this dream. I literally had this dream like a couple of days ago. So, if y'all know the musical Moulin Rouge, so, red lights. I was in this tango outfit. I was doing a tango to the song Tango de Roxanne. Of course, last night I stayed up. Stayed up. I saw like a live stream from my favorite voice actor, Dr. Massacre's voice actor, you could say. So I saw a character he played, that being Dr. Massacre. We were doing like a French/Spanish tango, rather romantically. I, however, was like singing along to the song. We danced for like a couple of hours. He dips me down like I'm gonna do this hand line, like whoop, whoop, like so, like what you see in most like movies, you could say. He stares me lustfully in the eyes as it got like closer to the song. Like near the end, he leans in very closely. And I was very flustered until snap from the alarm. The alarm bolted me up, woke me up from my coma. Rather quick. Literally. So, shoot. What was I gonna do now? So, I would say this next story is gonna be like a very intense nightmare. I'm gonna say, brace yourselves for what I'm gonna be saying, because probably this nightmare is a little intense. Okay. I had this dream when I was 15 years old. I was walking into the living room. My grandma was cooking pancakes for me like usual. I asked, "Grandma, how are you doing?" No response from her. So I tapped her on the shoulder to say, "Grandma, are you hearing what I'm saying?" She doesn't respond. So I turned her over, seeing her eyes black as ink, and her mouth like you like those horror puppets you see in like horror movies. I recoiled back, the floor slowly turning to ink, like very inky. I looked around my surroundings, and it was like very intense. Like everywhere was covered in ink splattered everywhere. And I saw in the corner of my eye, my dad was like, okay, how do I explain this in the nightmare form? Like his body was like this, some type of ink spear was like right through his body. He was laying there motionless. Same with my mom. My mom was also in the same position, which freaked me out. I ink was like rising where this length of my body was. I was like struggling to get out of it, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see something that looks very identical to me. It was me, but my hair was covered in black ink. So was my face. I had sharp like teeth, black soulless like eyes. She risen, and she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Do you regret what you did? Do you regret all your past mistakes? It will never change for you." The ink kept running up to where my mouth was, so I couldn't speak. I was crying relentlessly, trying to fight my way back. And the last thing I hear is, "You'll be a part of me, one way or another," which woke me up in tears. I was crying from this intense nightmare. I actually have a drawing of this creature-like thing I had in my nightmare. It's probably under my bed where all my other art stuff is, so I gotta probably like search around for it. Get that tinfoil out of here. Okay, it's probably okay. Is it in the front? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Probably in this notebook. Hey, look at that! I haven't touched this notebook in like ages. Let's see here. Is it anywhere in here? Okay. I'm looking everywhere for this nightmare type creature that I probably drew. I know it's in here. I am not bluffing when I say I had a nightmare of this. Oh god, the fan art. I forgot. I haven't touched this notebook in like ages. So, I wouldn't be surprised seeing very cringe art. Is it? It's probably in another notebook. I think it is. But I would show you an example of what it would look like, because there's an example character in here. Jude. Yeah, I found it here. So from like the nightmare experience, this is like the similarity to what I saw in the nightmare. It was something like this, but it looked like me, and ink was everywhere. Yeah, it was kind of freaky, I know, but sticks and stones break your bones, you could say. And that's the nightmare I'm gonna explain. Rather intense, right? And those. Oh wait, there's another nightmare. This nightmare was about. I was like this age right now. I was laying on a medical bed. Doctors surrounded me. They said I need a C-section, which they had to carve open my stomach. I felt the blade going in. It hurting really badly. Just nightmare. Oh god. So the scalpel was in my stomach. I felt it jerking inside, cutting it open. I screamed relentlessly. That's when I woke up and looked around the room. I tried getting it out of my head. And, okay. This might be the last dream / nightmare I ever will talk about. Okay, that was it. Okay, thanks for watching the stream, and bye.